All right, welcome back to the OG. I guess we call this our photo studio, but also our unboxing studio. And we got something fun to talk about here today, which is PSB speaker setup. These are the AM series, the Alpha AM series, which are the powered speakers. And I want to show you how to hook it up. And this is kind of a stupid video because it's so simple. But I do think we need to show this to people who buy them so you're prepared on what you need to know or how you're going to set it up when you get it. So we'll use the white speakers because they're a little bit better contrast here. But you have AM3s, which are $3.99 a pair, powered by a Class D amp. And you have AM5s, which are $5.99 a pair, at least that's today. Who knows with supply chain cost rising so substantially. But you have a active amplified speaker and you have a passive, so I guess you could do left and right, but let's say the left speaker, or in your case, the right speaker is the powered speaker, the left speaker is the amplified, or the passive speaker. So amplifier is built into one, and then we would just run a speaker wire across to the next. So it doesn't have to be left and right. It's sort of agnostic. It really depends on where your power outlet is. But one needs power outlet, the other needs speaker wire. So just keep that in mind when you're setting up. So if we look at our connections on the back of the speaker, you have a left and right. These do have a Phono Preamp. Kind of dumb, but if you're into vinyl, I would suspect, I'm the garage guy, so I would suspect if you're buying these for your garage, you probably don't have a record player in your garage, but who knows, maybe you do. These do have a Phono Preamp. That's what the left and right input is here. You have a optical input, auxiliary input. So if you did want to plug your phone in via headphone jack, you could if you wanted to plug it directly. It has optical. We'll show you if you really wanted to improve the sound of this. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then you have a sub out. The USB connection here is a 5-volt power outlet. This is also where you would do firmware updates if you ever needed to do that as well, but you could plug and charge your phone from this as well. Something you could do. Power outlet here, and then we have our binding posts. You should never really need to use the ground if you ever had some sort of ground loop issue because you had an old house or something. Maybe you could ground this to do an earth ground somewhere, or ground to your cabinets or something like that, but generally you're not going to need that. So we're going to run our speaker wires across. And then of course our passive speaker just simply has some binding posts, nothing else you need to do to it. So make sure to go watch the actual video of me telling you the story behind these and why we're doing these. These you would normally not think would be OG spec, but I talk about that in the setup video. So make sure to go watch that on the product page or on the YouTube channel. So let's just get into it. Let's start setting these things up. So first thing you need to do is AM3s have a little different power, a little different box and power cord. But each speaker comes with, first they come with feet. So you want to put your feet on. You don't want to scratch it up. So they come with a little 3M, little adhesive feet. They're not they're not good at sliding on the surface, so you do want to, they'll tend to pull off if you try to slide because they are kind of grippy. So you want to lift and put your speaker in place. You don't want to push it in place. You could go buy some like furniture pads or something for these if you wanted to, but I would suggest putting the 3M little things that come in the box. You get a power brick, which I don't love. I wish they would put this in the speaker somewhere, but you need the brick, the AC to DC adapter, converter, and then you have a power cord. Each comes with a European style, so it does come with a European type plug, which of course we're not going to use here in the US. They come with the, where's the other power plug here? So let's just use the AM3 since I have this one sitting here prepared for me. So they come with this brick, power cord, and they come with a really crappy speaker wire. They come with that. They also come with a headphone jack, a headphone 1/8 inch connection, which we're not going to use in this setup example. And so all you're going to do with the speaker and you're setting up is you're going to, obviously uncoil and plug in your brick to your actual extension cord section. We're going to proverbially plug that into the wall here, and then you're going to take your power, your 24 volt DC connection and plug it in here. So this is your your simple D to A converter, or not D to A converter, not digital analog. This is your AC to DC converter, your box that you need, the adapter for that for the speaker. It's even branded PSB, but I'm sure this is some typical UL made Chinese brick with a little power light on it. Then you're going to take your speaker wire. Really, really simple here. You're going to take your speaker wire and you're going to simply connect your binding post. Now I'm going to show you what I did with mine, but it may be counterintuitive. If you get yourself some better speaker wire, I would suggest you not use the wire that comes in the box, but you can certainly use it if you needed to. You're not going to hear a difference. So then I have my speaker and I'm going to run it to my passive speaker here. Get this out of the way. Can't wait for when we get our overhead cameras that are coming here soon. So your other speaker here is quite simple in that I'm going to take and connect it like so. So now my speakers are connected. So imagine they're pointing at you, but your speakers then, you can run them 100 feet away if you needed to. You could pre-wire your garage. You could run this behind your cabinets. In most garages, what we do is put this on top of your cabinets. If you're really getting into this, get a set of isoacoustic stands so you can sort of point them down and decouple them from your cabinets, and then again you'd run some likely better speaker wire than what comes in the box. We do sell 12 gauge in-wall rated speaker wire that you can buy by the foot, or we do have some fancy wire like our, I don't know how much sense this makes, but this is how I was running the speakers. This is our Velux, pre-terminated high-end speaker wire. These are in the $300 range for a pair. I don't know if it makes sense to have $300 cables for $600 speakers, but we sell $700 accessory packages for $60 Ryobi. So it's questionable whether you get a better audio experience, especially in the garage with better speaker wire. So then the next step, I'm going to cut away here to Bryce. He's going to show us how to connect on your phone to the speaker.
Hello, welcome to the setup process for the PSB Alpha AM series. Today I'm going to walk you through setting up the speakers to a Bluetooth connection and going through the different functions on the remote. So when you go to set up your AM series speakers, you want to go ahead and interconnect the speakers with the supplied speaker cable. This one speaker has an amplifier in it. It will power the other passive speaker with that amplifier. Now when you plug these speakers in, they'll automatically turn on. So you take your power cord here, plug it into the back of the plate amplifier, and you'll see the speaker will turn on right here. So when you first turn on the speakers, the status light here by the front dial will be an amber color. This is just letting you know that the speaker is actually on. And if you want to cycle through the different sources, you go ahead onto the dial here and just press it. So now we are actually in Bluetooth, which is the blue light. And now we hit it one more time. It's going to go into pairing. So it's trying to pair in Bluetooth. So we're just going to keep on going through these. Now it's cyan, which is your analog input. Hit it one more time. White, this will be your optical input. And then now we have a purple, and this is your USB input, so you can hook this up to a computer. Now we're on green, and green will be your phono input, so if you have a turntable or something, this can actually accept that, and it has a ground on the back for your turntable as well. So now let's go back to our blue for our Bluetooth. It's flashing blue and red. We're going to go ahead and go into our mobile device, go into Bluetooth, and look for the AM3 speakers and connect them. So if I look on my iPhone right here, you just hit AM3, connect. The status light will change once they're connected. We have a solid blue light now. And now you can go to whatever streaming app you want to, be it Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal. Make sure it's connected to the AM3s and you can start playing your music. So with every active PSB speaker, you will get a remote for it. So I'm going to go ahead and work my way from the top of the remote down, explain what every function does and how it changes the status light on the front of the speaker. So the power button here, this is just your auto standby button. These speakers by themselves will go into auto standby after 20 minutes. So there's no on off or switch, they'll just automatically turn themselves off, and when they sense an input or anything, they'll turn themselves back on. Over here is your Bluetooth interrupt. So if you hit this button for 3 seconds, it'll actually interrupt the speakers, disconnect the device that's currently connected to them, and allows you to connect another device to them. Now we have our volume control, our skip forward and back, and our mute. Making our way down, we have the sub control. So if you get your speakers playing and they sound like they're lacking a little bit of bass, it probably has the crossover on the amp enabled. So go ahead and hit this sub button, and that will disable the crossover, and you'll get the full range of frequency to the speakers. The mode button, this is the one thing that will change the status light colors once again, like the input selection. So default mode, which is flat, will be no color on the front. So if you do mode and we go green, this is the wide sound stage volume sound preset that they have built into it. And now if we hit it one more time, we'll go amber, and this is the dialogue EQ soundstage, whatever, equalization that they have built into them. And if we do one more, it combines these two together as a blue light. So flash blue, and this is what they call wide sound plus, which takes those other two sound presets and combines them together to get more sound stage and better dialogue. So we actually prefer just leaving it on the flat profile. So if you hit it one more time, it'll go back, no color shows, you're completely flat EQ, nothing enhanced. Now, making our way down to treble and bass, it'll always, so if I hit here, it'll go up, 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 and treble, keep on going. Now we're at max. You can see it flashes a couple times. You go down, keep on going down. It'll flash once red to let you know you're in the middle. So you're directly in the middle, not negative or positive. The same thing goes for bass. If I hit bass, you keep on going up, 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 and you just get flashes. If you keep on hitting up, it'll just keep flashing. Make your way down to the one flash. You're now in the middle of the bass range. And that's pretty much all you need to know about the PSB remote for the active speakers.
So thanks, Bryce, for showing us how to do that and how to connect. Really, really simple. Again, onboard Bluetooth is a nice feature, a nice function. If you are going to, I wanted to mention an aside here, if you are going to do a speaker wire with a banana type connection, you take your fingernail, or if you, I haven't cut my nails in a week or so, so I do have enough nail here to grab the little piece here so that I can then take and connect my banana connection to the speaker wire. You could get yourself, we do sell banana connectors in the store as well. You could grab some banana connectors and put it on a wire like this, or even better, get yourself the the in-wall rated 12 gauge stuff. That's what I would suggest. It's like $1.50 a foot or something like that. If you need 20 feet, you got $30 or $40 in speaker wire. Get yourself some banana connectors, and you have a nice solid connection if you needed to move the speakers around or something like that. But really, that's the only setup you need, with the exception of if you, let's say that you're on an upgrade path, you're working your way toward higher res audio, and you wanted to eventually get better sound. Because remember, anytime you're connecting with Bluetooth, like Bryce showed you how to do on the phone, anytime you're going to make Bluetooth, simple Bluetooth connectivity, you're going to have to realize that you're sacrificing quality. And now, again, we're talking $600 pair of speakers in the garage. These have a 50 watt or 35 watt Class D amplifier built in. The idea here is simplicity. I want good sound in the garage, but I don't want to break the bank. But if you're on an upgrade path, get yourself a good speaker wire. That's your first step. Next step is then to get yourself a digital player like a Blue Sound Node. The Node here is a 24-bit, 192 kilohertz player. So when you do what Bryce showed you and you hook up your phone to the speaker, your phone is the remote control and the player. So it's controlling the speaker's volume, but has, that's what's outputting, whatever Bluetooth's maximum quality is. So you could be listening to an MQA file on title, but only getting a certain amount of quality out. Bluetooth, even aptX, these will accept aptX, and then AAC. The AAC Apple is regulated to, or relegated to, what is it, a 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz or less. And so having this box, now your phone becomes the remote control. This is the player. And so all we would simply do is we would take and connect our optical out into our optical in, and we have Metra Velux cables as well for this. We do sell in the store. So this is an upgrade path in the future. You would simply plug this in instead of, if you were going to connect a subwoofer. By the way, I didn't talk much about the subwoofer out. You could connect a subwoofer out, to this. If you were going to connect a subwoofer, you would then use this to be your subwoofer control, because then you'd have some EQ functionality to some extent from the Blue Sound node. But this guy here is $550. It's as much as the speakers. That in a perfect world, your combination would eventually look like this, with a really nice set of speaker wires with some banana plugs connected to it, and that's how you would set up and connect to your speakers here and get the best quality sound output. You would come in with like an Ethernet cable. You could then also use these speakers with your TV as well, because the Blue Sound adds HDMI ARC, or audio return channel, where you would connect to this here. We'll have separate videos on this particular box, so I don't want to get into too much detail here, but this add-on between the speakers would simply be an optical connection, and then you would no longer Bluetooth connect to your speakers. You would connect to this via Wi-Fi and have higher res, higher quality audio, making this your player. So I made a mess here with all these speakers around, but really this video is simple. Buy the speakers, plug one of them in, run the speaker wire. If you have another box, hook it up with optical cables, connect to your phone. You're up and running with some really high quality sound and a not so expensive speaker.